I'm Simon Kelner, the editor of The Independent. These are my top 5 front pages. The first one is the first ever tabloid front page that we did at The Independent, and the key to it are those two words at the top which say "New Today." This was a completely new thing for us. It was a completely new thing for the world of newspapers. It was a quality newspaper in tabloid form, and since that date 58 newspapers around the world have changed from being a broadsheet to what we now call a compact newspaper. So this front page means an awful lot to me, and it means a lot to the Independent and to the whole newspaper market. The whitewash front cover is one of the definitive front covers, I feel, from my time as editing The Independent. I think in years to come it will be seen as a sort of trademark front page. What worked for it is when a graphical approach and an editorial point work together. I think it was a very brave front page, and what we wanted to say in the paper was that the Hutton report into the death of David Kelly was a whitewash. It's one of those front pages that I think in years to come people will look back on and say The Independent absolutely got it right. One of the things I'm proudest of in my time at The Independent is how sometimes we've stood as a lone voice, but we've been very often a counterblast to what has been the received view at the time. And this has been particularly true with immigration. We've been bombarded, particularly from the right-wing papers, from the Telegraph and the Express and the Mail, with how, immigrants are ruining the country. They're dirty, nasty people who eat your swans and, take your jobs and everything. And I'm very proud that The Independent has stood firm and put over the very positive aspects of immigration, and we've done it in a very punchy way. I think this front page is particularly punchy, and it's one that has fit in very much with the ethos of the paper. A couple of weeks ago we celebrated our 20th birthday. The paper was born on October the 7th, 1986, and we had a very grand party at Lancaster House. Gordon Brown was speaking at the party. One of the things he said was, it's very irritating as a Chancellor of the Exchequer when you spend months and months and months doing your budget and you think you've presented it well and you think you've done a fantastic budget, and the next day the Independent's front page is what's happened to the butterfly. What it says is that, we don't have to go with the main news agenda of the day that people have heard on the radio or watched on the telly or seen on the internet. This is a paper that presents curious, interesting stories. And actually, we were very interested in this story about how bumblebees are becoming extinct. It was a very interesting story, very well presented, it sold very well, and it made me more bold to go with stories that, as I say, are curios, really. The last front page is one actually that I didn't have very much to do with. It's the front page of the issue edited by Bono. It was designed by Damien Hirst. He had the idea the previous night of doing a completely blank front page with the words "No News Today," and then in small type just that 6,500 Africans had died of a preventable disease. It was great fun having him in the office. I think he had real journalistic instinct. I think he enjoyed it. I think we produced a terrific newspaper which actually sold an extra 70,000 copies, and it made me think that if I take a back seat and get someone good in to edit the paper, we're going to sell more copies.